Well, it looks like Donald Trump has some very big aspirations.
I mean, I see this. It's so incredible. Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
Yep, as it soon looks like the United States will now have the Panama Canal, Canada, and Greenland under its belt, as Donald Trump looks like he's aspiring to increase, improve, and grow the United States of America. As the memes now have officially begun to spread the internet, especially after the latest announcement from Donald Trump, who at a press conference had this to say.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate.
As of course, this declaration is a little petty, but it is very Trumpian. As a lot of people online are saying, absolutely, I love this larger idea. As overwhelmingly, it doesn't really matter. It's just kind of a larger symbolic gesture. But it does highlight and hint at some of the future policies of the President of the United States that, of course, looks like he's going to try to expand the United States in more ways than one. As DFranz or Memes has this take on what just happened. As I have my own particular take on this that I will be sharing in just a little bit, but of course it doesn't just stop at symbolically name changing a huge body of water. It also involves direct threats against Canada that Donald Trump has now been referring to as the potential new state of the United States, or a territory that they could soon acquire, as Donald Trump has absolutely given a ton lashing to Justin Trudeau, their prime minister that is absolutely disgraced and just resigned after, he took away people's bank accounts for criticizing him, took away their ability to defend themselves, and took their tools and gave them to Ukraine. He also opened the borders wide open and just led the country into total economic devastation. As we have to be honest here, Justin Trudeau probably resigned because he didn't want to deal with the larger threats against tariff against Canada from Donald Trump, as it looks like Donald Trump is making good on those particular threats, as he just again issued yet another statement talking about how Canada should be the 51st state of the United States.
Why are we supporting a country 200 billion plus a year? Our military is at their disposal. All of these other things, they should be a state. That's why I told Trudeau when he came down, I said, what would happen if we didn't do it? He said Canada would dissolve. Canada wouldn't be able to function. If we didn't take their 20% of our car market, they send us hundreds of thousands of cars. They make a lot of money with that. They send us a lot of other things that we don't need. We don't need their cars. We don't need the other products. We don't need their milk.
As whether Donald Trump is just using the art of the deal here by kind of over-asking and then meeting somewhere in the middle, especially when it comes to a lot of these trade policies. As one thing you have to kind of admit about Donald Trump is that he's a straight shooter. He tells you it like it is. And some would now argue he's being kind of an over-aggressive kind of reactionary compared to a lot of the previous policies that absolutely undermined the American country, its interest, and its working class. As now he has been kind of seen as a champion for the average American out there, standing in the way of a lot of these kind of predatory globalist policies that want to take advantage of them. Now, does that mean taking over and conquering more territories? For some, actually it does. For others, it doesn't. As Donald Trump even flatly was asked whether or not he would use military or economic coercion in order to achieve a lot of these kind of territories and lands and strategic canals, and this is what he had to say, which didn't surprise a lot of people.
Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that
as a lot of people are now kind of uncertain, unsure how a lot of these processes will kind of move forward here, as of course America is the #1 hegemonic power on the world stage. As right now, Donald Trump is also looking at Greenland and saying, you're looking mighty fine over there, even though you're not really green. You're filled with a lot of ice, not with that many people, but you do have a lot of interesting natural resources that could help secure America's foothold at becoming the #1 dominant world superpower. As of course, what's happening here also involves a larger Thucydides trap, which I'm going to be talking about in just a little bit. But as of today, Donald Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., is literally in Greenland with Charlie Kirk talking to the local population there, as Donald Trump has now also threatened major economic sanctions against Denmark if they don't try to, of course, play ball and maybe acquiesce to the larger plans of the United States trying to acquire Greenland as its official territory. As Donald Trump also just said this to say, specifically when it comes to the larger kind of moves he's thinking about when it comes to, of course, acquiring Greenland for the United States.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen. We're not letting it happen. And if Denmark wants to get to a conclusion, but nobody knows if they even have any right, title, or interest. The people are going to probably vote for independence or to come into the United States. But if they did do that, then I would tariff Denmark at a very high level.
A very interesting plan is, of course, expanding the territories of the United States, buying up Greenland, liberating Canada from their dictatorship in order to, of course, spread freedom and democracy to that conquered, despotic, socialistic hellscape, regaining control of the Panama Canal, and increasing the larger sphere of influence and natural resource ability of the United States while unleashing the full might of a lot of business and enterprises from being able to fully get a lot of those resources and energy reserves from the ground would dramatically increase America's footing on the world stage and allow it to, of course, outcompete China and their larger kind of Belt and Road initiative that, of course, is expanding their sphere of influence. I'm going to tell you why that's important in a little bit, but we got more kind of perspective into Donald Trump's approach here with Greenland as his son literally took out a cell phone and was speaking to the local Greenland population through his son's cell phone. As Donald Trump had this to say to the people there that soon might be voting on whether or not they will be joining the United States.
My son, and he's a real hunter, fisherman, and all the things that you love. And I thought it'd be great to go up there with his two very talented friends and the other group, a lot of other people. So I just want to say that it's a very special place. It needs security for itself, but it also needs security very much for the world. The location really, you see the people and the ships sailing around, and they're not the right ships, and they're not the ships you want to know about. So we need security, and our country needs it, and the whole world needs it. Yes! You're so strategically located.
Yeah. You are right.
You guys like that, right? As personally, there is an argument to make for these larger kind of expansionist kind of policies, as many historians and political scholars are now arguing that if the United States keeps falling short of its interests, keeps falling short of its larger kind of economic achievements and goals and energy resources and ability to actually be the #1 superpower, that of course this kind of regression of it will bring it closer to having the same kind of not lesser power than of course an emerging world superpower that of course is China. And with China opening up a lot of relations, specifically in Africa, gaining a lot of natural resources, increasing their significant trade with countries from all over the world, with them expanding their territories and creating islands or conquering islands, they are preparing for, of course, to be their own hegemonic world power, as of course putting the United States in question will create a very dangerous situation that increases the likelihood of a larger Thucydides trap, a larger war between China and the United States. Now, if the United States is able to get its ish together, which it looks like Donald Trump is trying to, of course, achieve, not only with their sphere of influence, but their natural resources. If they're able to, of course, excel and do a lot better than they ever have done before, there won't even be a competition between them and China, which means there's a less likelihood of them potentially even clashing or going at war with each other. And if you look at it from a kind of geopolitical perspective, this policy does make sense, even though personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it, especially when it comes to using coercion or military in order to take over other people's lands. That's not the way that we should be going, but this is a direct opposite approach of what previously has been happening within the United States, as politicians have been selling out America to, of course, the highest bidder. Now we have someone in there that, of course, wants to make a name for himself, wants to be someone that has a legacy, is thinking that there's a larger God calling him that has saved him from assassins that took shots at him that were just this close away from taking his life. As it's fair to say, Donald Trump wants to be remembered. He wants to be known. He cares about his legacy now more than ever. And what better legacy to leave than by saying, look, I expanded America this much. And even though a lot of people were like, oh, he's joking, he's kidding around here, he's just doing the art of the deal, he might not be. As personally, I do believe that there are a lot of other things that should happen first within the United States, as we got to get our ish together. We have a major problem when it comes to obesity, when it comes to a mental health crisis, when it comes to a lot of the horrible things that our institutions do, especially to our young children, as there are less and less of them, and the few that are absolutely messed up royally, as we are dealing with the larger depopulation problem. As I admit, the memes are funny, but I think truly we should hone in before becoming larger expansionist. Even if we should do that, I would say no, since I think we have a lot of other issues we should prioritize within the United States, fix our problems internally, and then, of course, we could start that larger conversation. And if you agree with me, share this video here. As also, don't forget to sign up to lukeunfiltered.com, as we are going to be doing in real life meetups very soon. February 1st, just a few days from now, we are doing a range day. That's going to be really fun, really awesome. It's a class that I'm going to be taking with you. You purchase the class separately from a separate company that has nothing to do with our organization. And then when you do, you will take one of the best classes in South Florida, specifically when it comes to self-defense. You bring out your own tools, you bring out your own stuff, and you will get quality, top-notch training that I will be doing with you, all here through, of course, just one of the many incredible perks available to you on lukeunfiltered.com. If you haven't signed up yet, you are missing out on a lot of really incredible content only available for you guys as members that you could just simply get by clicking right here, and you could join for $8, $15, $100, whatever your budget affords it. You get emailed back a login, and you get access to over 12 plus years of content only available for you just for members, now exclusively on lukeunfiltered.com. See you there, as I'm going to have 2 brand new spanking videos very soon just for members, all here on our exclusive secret, not so secret society that you can be a part of right now. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more.